Have you ever looked around your room and wondered how so many things ended up on your shelves, but so few truly bring you joy? Or maybe you felt that quiet ache in your chest after saying yes to something you didn't really want to do, just to avoid disappointing someone? As we grow older, something inside us begins to whisper that maybe happiness isn't in adding more, doing more, proving more. Maybe it's in doing a little less of what no longer brings peace to the soul. Less worrying about what others think, less rushing, less fixing everyone's lives but our own. What if the secret to joy after all these years isn't in working harder, but in being lazier about the things that quietly drain us? And what if that kind of laziness is the wisest decision we could ever make? So today, let's gently explore 8 things you can stop doing to live a lighter, freer, more meaningful life. If you've ever felt like your heart needs rest more than your calendar needs filling, this message is for you. Let me know in the comments. What's something you've stopped doing lately that made your life feel easier? And if this resonates, I invite you to subscribe. We're walking this path together. 1. Stop overthinking. What others think. Ever catch yourself replaying a conversation in your head, wondering if you sounded silly, or maybe spent way too long picking an outfit because you were worried about what they might think? Oh, the energy we've poured into that. For years, maybe even decades, it's like we've been carrying around this invisible, super heavy backpack filled with worries about other people's judgments. Remember being younger, constantly trying to figure out the right thing to say or do to fit in, to be liked, to avoid that dreaded sideways glance? It's exhausting, isn't it? Like running a marathon in your mind every single day. You're constantly scanning faces, trying to decode expressions, second-guessing yourself. Did they like my idea? Was that joke okay? Do they think I'm... This constant mental gymnastics steals so much joy. It makes us hesitant to be our quirky, wonderful selves, pushing us to wear masks or water down our personalities just to avoid potential disapproval. And here's the kicker. People are going to think whatever they want anyway. Their thoughts are shaped by their own stuff, their mood that day, their past experiences, their own insecurities. Trying to control that is like trying to herd cats in a thunderstorm. Impossible and frankly, a bit pointless. The most important thing to grab onto is this. What flickers through someone else's mind for a fleeting moment has absolutely zero bearing on your actual worth as a person. Your value isn't up for debate or dependent on popular opinion. But here's the beautiful part. Something that often clicks as we gather more birthdays. You start realizing that a backpack of worry is optional. You can actually choose to set it down. And oh, the relief when you do. Imagine taking a deep, full breath after holding it tight for years. That's what it feels like when you start genuinely letting go of the need for everyone's approval. Suddenly, there's this incredible freedom. You can finally exhale and just be. You can wear that bright yellow sweater because you love it. Share that opinion you've held back. Laugh loudly at something only you find funny, or pursue that hobby others might find odd. It's like the sun coming out from behind the clouds. A quiet, steady peace starts to settle in your heart, one that doesn't need likes or applause to survive. It comes from knowing who you are and being okay with that, regardless of who's watching or what they might be thinking. You start anchoring yourself from the inside out. This isn't about becoming cold or suddenly not caring about people. Not at all. It's about developing a wonderfully wise kind of laziness. Think of it as strategically deciding where not to spend your precious energy anymore. You become lazy about the pointless, draining task of trying to guess what's in everyone else's head, or constantly tweaking yourself to fit some imaginary ideal. That energy just isn't worth the hassle anymore. It's like finally realizing you don't need to attend every single argument you're invited to. You can politely decline the mental invitation to worry. Instead, you can pour all that wonderfully freed up energy into things that actually fill your cup. Enjoying a quiet morning coffee, connecting deeply with loved ones who get you, rediscovering old passions, learning something new, or simply sitting peacefully and appreciating the moment. So embrace this laziness. See it as a superpower you've earned. By consciously choosing not to waste your time and hard on the uncontrollable noise of others' opinions, you reclaim your joy, your peace, and the delightful freedom to live your life authentically and happily as you. Second, stop worrying about the future. Isn't it fascinating how our minds can act like little time machines, constantly wanting to zip off into the future? The only snag is, they often seem programmed to land right in the middle of Worryville, exploring all sorts of unsettling what-ifs. You know the drill. What if my health declines? What if the money runs dry? What if I end up needing too much help? Our imaginations are truly gifted storytellers, especially when it comes to potential future troubles. But here's the thing about spending all that precious mental energy rehearsing disasters that haven't happened. It's like furiously rocking in a rocking chair. Sure, it feels like you're busy doing something important, but deep down you know it's getting you absolutely nowhere. All that mental churning and picturing the worst doesn't actually shield you from future difficulties. Worse than being unproductive, though, is how this habit actively robs you of the richness of right now. While your mind is off wrestling with hypothetical shadows, you're completely missing the simple, tangible joys of today, the comforting warmth of your tea, the sound of rain on the window, a genuine connection in conversation. It's like carrying a heavy backpack filled with anxieties for a trip you might never take, making the journey you're actually on feel unnecessarily exhausting and bleak. It feels like a draining cycle, doesn't it? But here's a thought that can bring such incredible relief. What if we chose a different response? Instead of automatically feeding those anxious future thoughts, what if we leaned into trust? Not a blind leap, but a trust built on the solid foundation of your own life experience. Just pause and think back for a second. How many unexpected challenges have you already navigated? How many times did you feel overwhelmed, yet somehow you found the strength or the solution you needed? The undeniable truth is, you possess an incredible resilience, proven time and again. Choosing to trust in that inner capacity to handle whatever comes your way is profoundly empowering, and that trust grows strongest when you bring your focus back to the present moment. When you gently pull your attention away from the hazy what-ifs and plant your feet firmly in today, something shifts. You start noticing the good that's already here, which naturally opens the door to gratitude. Making a conscious effort to appreciate the small things, a sunny morning, a helpful neighbor, a moment of quiet, acts like an anchor, steadying you in the here and now. As a result, rather than constantly scanning the horizon for potential threats, you begin to genuinely appreciate the ground beneath your feet. This focus on the present, combined with gratitude, doesn't magically eliminate future uncertainties, but it infuses your current life with a tangible sense of peace and authentic joy, making you far more centered and resourceful for whatever lies ahead. So how do we actually cultivate this calmer, more present way of being? It boils down to embracing a wonderfully wise form of laziness. This isn't about neglecting responsibilities or burying your head in the sand. Rather, it's about becoming strategically lazy, about engaging with those unproductive, anxiety-fueled thoughts about the uncertain future. When those familiar what-if worries inevitably pop up, you can learn to simply notice them, maybe even greet them with a wry internal nod. Ah, there you are again. But then consciously choose not to pour your valuable energy into spinning them out further. Think of it as wisely conserving your mental fuel for the tasks and experiences of the day you're actually living. This mindful laziness involves actively choosing trust in your resilience, in your ability to adapt, over fear. It means committing to living fully in the present, engaging your senses, connecting meaningfully, and pursuing activities that bring you satisfaction now. And crucially, it involves making gratitude a regular practice, actively seeking and acknowledging the blessings already woven into your life. By deliberately choosing not to get caught up in anxieties about what might be, you effectively trade the heavy burden of worry for the lighter, brighter experience of a life lived with presence, trust, and a genuinely grateful heart. You give yourself the profound gift of truly inhabiting and enjoying the only time you ever truly possess, this very moment. Let go of perfection and regret. Feeling lighter now that we've decided to step off the exhausting treadmill of trying to please everyone? That's a fantastic start, like clearing out the clutter in a room. But often, even when we stop looking outward for validation, we find internal roadblocks just as draining. Let's talk about two particularly stubborn ones that often show up together: the relentless, exhausting drive for perfection and its heavy, backward-looking companion, regret. Does this ring a bell? Perhaps it's that feeling of constantly chasing a flawless version of yourself, your work, or your life. A version that always seems just beyond your grasp. It's that inner critic, the one with impossibly high standards, whispering, or sometimes shouting, that whatever you achieve, it's just not quite enough. You find yourself polishing, tweaking, agonizing over minuscule details, terrified of making the slightest misstep. This pursuit isn't just tiring, it actively steals the joy from your efforts, because the goalpost is perpetually moving. You become so focused on avoiding any hint of imperfection that you miss the richness of the process, the value in learning, and the simple truth of being human, beautifully imperfect. It's like performing a high-wire act constantly, with only your own harsh judgment as the audience. Then there's regret, perfectionism's shadow. It acts like a mental time machine stuck in reverse, forcing you to replay past scenes, dissect old decisions, and torture yourself with what-ifs and should-haves. If only I'd chosen differently. Why did I say that? I can't forgive myself for that mistake. Each regret becomes another heavy weight, anchoring you to a past you simply cannot alter. This constant backward glance drains your present moment energy and prevents you from fully engaging with life as it unfolds now. Trying to live fully while steeped in regret is like attempting to drive forward while fixated on the rearview mirror. You miss the journey ahead and risk getting stuck, or worse. This cycle of self-recrimination keeps you locked in dissatisfaction, unable to embrace today's possibilities. Here's the truly liberating insight: the path toward genuine peace. It doesn't lie in achieving some mythical state of flawlessness or magically rewriting your history. Instead, it blossoms through the gentle, courageous practice of acceptance. Imagine the profound relief of truly accepting your past, acknowledging the triumphs, the missteps, the lessons learned, and the choices made with the understanding you possessed at that time. Picture accepting yourself, right here and now, as a work in progress, inherently worthy despite imperfections. This isn't about giving up, it's about letting go of an unwinnable fight. When you cease battling the unchangeable past and striving for an unattainable ideal, you create breathing room. Room to learn, room to grow, and perhaps most importantly, room to notice and appreciate the simple joys available in this moment. The warmth of sunlight, a kind word, the taste of your coffee. How do we cultivate this acceptance and break free? Our surprisingly effective strategy of wise laziness comes into play beautifully here. This involves becoming intentionally lazy about chasing the exhausting illusion of perfection. Give yourself permission to aim for good enough more often. Recognize when that inner critic starts its monologue and consciously choose not to pour energy into arguing with it. Be lazy about engaging. This isn't carelessness, it's strategic energy conservation. In the same vein, practice being lazy about dwelling on regrets. When those old memories surface, notice them. That old thought. But then deliberately choose not to follow them down the familiar, painful path. Be lazy about replaying those mental reruns. Ask yourself gently, is there anything truly actionable or useful here now? If the answer is no, gently redirect your attention back to the present. This conscious laziness is a powerful form of self-compassion. It's about refusing to squander your vital energy on internal conflicts that lead nowhere. By choosing this wise laziness regarding perfectionism and regret, you reclaim vast reserves of mental and emotional energy, freeing yourself to invest it where it matters most. Living your actual life right here, right now, with greater peace and presence. Fourth, stop trying to please everyone. Having explored the liberation that comes from wisely managing our worries about the future, we now turn our focus to another powerful, yet often invisible drain on our precious energy: the deeply ingrained compulsion to please absolutely everyone. Does that scenario feel familiar? Perhaps you've spent years mastering the art of accommodation, always being the reliable one, the person who says yes even when your internal voice whispers otherwise. It's like being on a perpetual diplomatic mission within your own life, constantly navigating the desires and expectations of family, friends, and colleagues, often without even checking in with your own needs. You become skilled at anticipating what others want, carefully crafting your responses to gain approval or avoid conflict. But here's the fundamental truth we often overlook in the midst of all that effort. Striving to please every single person is not just incredibly tiring, it's an impossible goal. Different people inevitably have conflicting desires. What makes one person happy might very well disappoint another. Consequently, you might find yourself constantly adjusting, trying to be everything to everyone, which is profoundly draining. This continuous performance can leave you feeling scattered, perhaps even harboring a quiet layer of resentment, and ultimately disconnected from who you genuinely are. It's an energy leak that steals peace and leaves little room for your own authentic joys to flourish. Recognizing this exhausting pattern is the crucial first step, and the truly encouraging news is that there's a path away from this constant striving. Imagine for a moment the incredible sense of relief, the sheer lightness that comes when you consciously decide to release the burden of needing universal approval. Picture the space that opens up in your life. Within that decision lies the powerful promise of reclaiming your personal freedom. It's like discovering a hidden key to unlock a more authentic way of being. Suddenly, you grant yourself permission to say no when needed, perhaps kindly but clearly, to requests that deplete your energy or don't align with your values. You unlock the freedom to pursue activities simply because they bring you joy, whether that's revisiting an old passion, enjoying peaceful solitude, or choosing paths that feel right for you, even if others don't fully understand. And often, a beautiful shift occurs as a result. When you stop trying so hard to be a people-pleasing chameleon and start showing up as your true self, you naturally begin to attract people who appreciate and resonate with the real you. Your connections become more genuine, built on mutual respect instead of performance. How then do we actually make this shift towards authentic living and genuine connection a reality? How do we claim the freedom we've just imagined? It comes back to embracing that specific kind of wise laziness we've been discussing, applied now to the realm of relationships and expectations. This time, it means becoming intentionally lazy about the exhausting, unwinnable game of trying to satisfy everybody. Let's be clear, this isn't about becoming indifferent or selfish. Rather, it's a conscious, strategic decision about where you direct your valuable energy. After potentially decades of prioritizing the perceived needs and desires of others, this phase is about turning that focus inward. Being lazy in this context means interrupting the automatic yes. It involves pausing to ask yourself, do I genuinely have the capacity for this? Does this align with my core values right now? What do I truly need? It means learning to establish healthy boundaries and accepting that it's okay if some people are disappointed. Their feelings are ultimately their own to manage. This strategic laziness is fundamentally an act of profound self-respect. It's about redirecting the vast energy once poured into seeking external validation back into nurturing your own well-being, in exploring your interests, and cultivating inner peace. By choosing to be lazy about chasing universal approval, you gracefully step off the draining stage of performance and into the quiet, confident space of living your life on your own authentic terms. Stop trying to fix everyone's problems. Have you ever felt like you're trying to be the superhero in everyone's story, swooping in to solve their problems and save the day? It's a noble thought, but here's the catch. Trying to fix everyone's problems can leave you feeling drained and overwhelmed. Not only that, it can also prevent those you care about from learning valuable lessons on their own. Picture this. You see a friend struggling with a decision, and your first instinct is to jump in and offer solutions. Or maybe a family member is facing a tough situation, and you feel compelled to guide them through it. While your intentions are good, you might be taking away their chance to grow and learn from their experiences. Everyone's journey is unique, filled with ups and downs that shape who they are. By constantly intervening, you might be robbing them of the opportunity to become stronger and more resilient. Imagine the relief of stepping back and letting others handle their own challenges. This doesn't mean you stop caring or supporting them. Instead, you become a listener, offering empathy and understanding without the need to fix everything. This shift not only lightens your load, but also strengthens your relationships as people feel valued and respected rather than managed. There's a certain freedom in letting go of burdens that aren't yours to carry. When you stop trying to solve everyone's problems, you open up space in your life for your own passions and happiness. You'll find that you have more energy to focus on what truly matters to you. Whether it's nurturing your own relationships or pursuing your dreams, being lazy about taking on others' problems doesn't mean being indifferent. It means trusting others to walk their own paths and make their own choices. It's about recognizing that you are not responsible for everyone's happiness or success, and that's okay. By allowing others to face their own struggles, you give them the gift of resilience and self-discovery. As you embrace this approach, you'll discover a more balanced way of living. You'll be present for others without feeling the need to control their lives. This not only enriches your own life, but also allows others the dignity of their own journeys. Life is about supporting each other, walking alongside one another, and loving without the need to fix everything. Let's choose to let go and step back, trusting that everyone has their own path to navigate. In doing so, we find peace in knowing that we are all capable of handling our own stories. And that, my friend, is a truly beautiful way to live. 6. Stop wasting energy on arguments and drama. Picture this. You're at a gathering with friends. The atmosphere is light and joyful, but suddenly a trivial disagreement escalates into a full-blown argument. It's moments like these that make you wonder why we invest so much energy in proving ourselves right over matters that often don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Instead of enhancing our lives, these conflicts drain us, leaving little room for what truly enriches our experiences. Reflect on the last time you found yourself embroiled in a disagreement that seemed to spiral out of control. Perhaps it was over something as inconsequential as which movie reigns supreme, or a debate over a fleeting news story. In those heated moments, it feels essential to defend your stance. But as time passes, the realization dawns that the argument was more about pride than substance. Many of these disputes are just distractions, diverting your focus from the things that genuinely matter. Imagine the liberation that comes with choosing not to engage in every conflict. Picture yourself taking a deep breath, stepping back, and deciding that your peace is more valuable than winning a fleeting argument. This doesn't mean you stop sharing your views or standing up for yourself when it truly matters. It means being selective about where you invest your energy, allowing you to prioritize tranquility over turmoil. There's a profound strength in walking away from drama and unnecessary disputes. By conserving your energy, you open up space for more meaningful interactions and experiences. You learn to appreciate the power of silence and the wisdom in accepting differences. This isn't about being passive, it's about being wise with your energy, choosing serenity over strife. Imagine the calm that envelops you when you let go of the need to be right all the time. When you stop wasting energy on pointless arguments, you create room for joy and connection. Your relationships become richer as you focus on understanding rather than winning. Life becomes more enjoyable when you're not constantly on the defensive. Being lazy about engaging in unnecessary battles doesn't mean you don't care. It means you prioritize your well-being and the quality of your interactions. It's about valuing your tranquility and recognizing that not every disagreement needs to be a confrontation. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to stay silent, walk away, or simply accept differing opinions. As you embrace this mindset, you'll discover a more balanced way of living. You'll be present in conversations, listening and learning, without the need to dominate or control. This shift enriches your life and fosters a sense of respect and understanding with others. Life is too short to be consumed by drama and arguments that lead nowhere. Let's choose to conserve our energy and protect our peace. Let's decide that our tranquility is far more valuable than winning every debate. By doing so, we open ourselves to a life filled with meaningful connections and genuine happiness. And that, my friend, is a truly rewarding way to live. Seventh, stop rushing through life. Imagine life as a breathtaking landscape filled with vibrant colors and intricate details. Yet as we rush through our days, it's as if we're speeding past this beautiful scenery, barely catching a glimpse of its wonders. For many of us, life has felt like a relentless race against time, a series of deadlines and schedules that keep us moving at a frantic pace. But what if we could slow down and truly savor each moment? Think back to a day when you were so busy that you barely noticed the world around you. Maybe you were hustling to finish a project at work or rushing to get the kids ready for school. In the midst of all this chaos, it's easy to overlook the simple joys, the golden hue of the sunrise, the comforting aroma of your morning coffee, or the cheerful song of birds welcoming the day. These moments, though small, are the threads that weave together the tapestry of a fulfilling life. Slowing down doesn't mean abandoning your responsibilities or neglecting your goals. Instead, it's about being intentional with your time and allowing yourself to be present in the here and now. When you begin to slow down, you'll find that life offers a richness that you might have missed before. A leisurely walk becomes an opportunity to connect with nature, to feel the earth beneath your feet and the wind against your skin. A quiet morning coffee transforms into a ritual of peace, a moment to gather your thoughts and set intentions for the day. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is the permission to be lazy about keeping up with the frantic pace that society often demands. This doesn't mean shirking responsibilities, but rather prioritizing what truly matters to you. It's about finding balance and creating space for moments of reflection and joy. Imagine approaching each day with a sense of calm and presence. Instead of rushing to check off tasks, you take the time to appreciate the journey. You notice the laughter of a child, the kindness of a stranger, the beauty in everyday interactions. These are the moments that enrich your life, that remind you of the magic in the mundane. As you embrace this slower pace, you'll start to experience life more deeply. You'll find that time spent with loved ones becomes more meaningful, that conversations are more engaging, and that your own thoughts and feelings are clearer. Slowing down allows you to live with intention, to savor the beauty of the present without worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. So let's make a conscious effort to stop rushing through life. Let's choose to be present, to appreciate the simple, beautiful moments that surround us. In doing so, we'll discover a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. Life is not a race, it's a journey meant to be savored. By slowing down, we open ourselves to the beauty and wonder that each day holds. And that, my friend, is a truly rewarding way to live. 8. Stop accumulating unnecessary things. Imagine stepping into a room that feels like a sanctuary, uncluttered and serene, where every item has a purpose or brings you joy. This vision might seem distant if you're surrounded by piles of possessions accumulated over the years. Many of us fall into the trap of believing that material things will lead to lasting happiness. Yet the reality is often the opposite. These items can become burdens, both physically and mentally, weighing us down and cluttering our lives. Consider the cycle we often find ourselves in. The excitement of acquiring something new, followed by the inevitable realization that the thrill is temporary. Advertisements and societal pressures constantly urge us to own the latest gadgets, stylish clothes, and luxurious items. But once the initial excitement fades, we're left with more stuff that doesn't necessarily add value to our lives. Instead, it fills our spaces, demanding our time and energy to manage and maintain. Now imagine the sense of freedom that comes with letting go of this clutter. Picture a life where you are intentional about what you bring into your home, choosing only items that truly serve a purpose or bring you joy. By simplifying your surroundings, you create space for what genuinely matters, meaningful experiences and relationships that enrich your life. This approach isn't about depriving yourself, it's about being selective and thoughtful. Embrace the idea of being lazy about acquiring things you don't truly need or love. Less stuff means less stress and more serenity. When you own fewer possessions, you have less to worry about, less to clean, and less to organize. This simplicity invites a sense of calm and clarity into your life. With fewer distractions, your mind becomes clearer, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. You have more time and energy to invest in experiences that bring joy and fulfillment. Whether it's spending quality time with loved ones, pursuing a passion, or simply enjoying the present moment, you find that life becomes richer and more rewarding. Imagine the joy of living in a space that reflects your true values and priorities. Your home becomes a place of peace and inspiration, where every item has a story or a purpose. This shift in mindset allows you to appreciate the beauty and simplicity and find contentment in what you already have. As you embrace this lifestyle, you'll discover a profound sense of peace and satisfaction. You'll find yourself less concerned with keeping up with trends and more focused on creating a life that aligns with your values. Your relationships will deepen as you prioritize connections over possessions, and your experiences will become more meaningful as you focus on what truly enriches your life. Let's choose to simplify our lives and let go of unnecessary things. Let's decide that our peace and happiness are more valuable than owning countless possessions. By doing so, we open ourselves to a life filled with meaningful experiences and genuine connections. And that, my friend, is a truly fulfilling way to live. There comes a time in life, not marked by birthdays, but by a quiet shift inside, when we begin to realize that happiness doesn't live in how much we do, how many people we please, or how perfectly we perform. It lives in the space we give ourselves, to breathe, to feel, and to be. What if true wisdom in old age isn't about achieving more, but releasing what never truly mattered? Letting go of the mental noise, the social expectations, the clutter in our homes and in our hearts. That's not weakness. That's clarity. That's peace. There's a beautiful kind of freedom that comes with laziness, when it's born not from apathy, but from discernment, from finally knowing where your energy is sacred and where it is simply being wasted. You stop rushing to be understood by everyone because you've come to understand yourself. You stop fixing people because you finally realize everyone walks their own road. You stop chasing things because you've remembered that joy was never in the object, it was always in the moment. You start choosing stillness over striving, grace over guilt, presence over performance. And with every burden you put down, every should you no longer chase, you begin to hear life more clearly. The laughter of a loved one, the hush of a morning breeze, the steady beat of your own heart saying, "This is enough. You are enough." So as you move forward, may you give yourself the rare permission to be lazy about what weighs you down and passionate only about what lifts you up. Not because you've given up on life, but because you've finally chosen to live it, with lightness, with wisdom, and on your own quiet terms. There comes a time in life, not marked by birthdays, but by a quiet shift inside, when we begin to realize that happiness doesn't live in how much we do, how many people we please, or how perfectly we perform. It lives in the space we give ourselves, to breathe, to feel, and to be. What if true wisdom in old age isn't about achieving more, but releasing what never truly mattered? Letting go of the mental noise, the social expectations, the clutter in our homes and in our hearts. That's not weakness. That's clarity. That's peace. There's a beautiful kind of freedom that comes with laziness, when it's born not from apathy, but from discernment, from finally knowing where your energy is sacred and where it is simply being wasted. You stop rushing to be understood by everyone because you've come to understand yourself. You stop fixing people because you finally realize everyone walks their own road. You stop chasing things because you've remembered that joy was never in the object, it was always in the moment. You start choosing stillness over striving, grace over guilt, presence over performance. And with every burden you put down, every should you no longer chase, you begin to hear life more clearly. The laughter of a loved one, the hush of a morning breeze, the steady beat of your own heart saying, "This is enough. You are enough." So as you move forward, may you give yourself the rare permission to be lazy about what weighs you down and passionate only about what lifts you up. Not because you've given up on life, but because you've finally chosen to live it, with lightness, with wisdom, and on your own quiet terms. And perhaps that's the quiet truth we come to understand, not in haste, but in reflection, that a good life isn't built by doing more, but by carrying less. less need to fix, less urge to react, less desire to control. When we stop clinging to every conflict, every burden, every expectation, we make space. Space for joy, space for rest, space for the people and moments that truly nourish us. Because the older we get, the more sacred our energy becomes. And protecting that energy by being a little lazier about things that drain it isn't selfish. It's self-preservation. It's wisdom. It's peace earned. So if there's a lesson to hold gently in your heart after today, maybe it's this. The art of aging gracefully isn't about doing less of what matters. It's about doing only what matters. And in that space of less, we find more. More calm, more clarity, more life. If this message felt like something your heart needed to hear, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might be carrying too much right now. And if you'd like more reflections like this, you're warmly invited to subscribe and stay close. Here, we don't rush. We walk slow, speak softly, and remind each other of what truly matters. Thank you for spending this moment with me. Until next time, stay light, stay kind, and stay beautifully, wonderfully you.